Cutting into normal programming with this breaking news update. The Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railway Bridge demolition over the Big Sioux River in North Sioux City will happen this morning. KTIV News 4 is on the scene. Our live team coverage from both sides of the bridge begins right now. RJ Breen is on Military Road. That's near River Drive. Katie Koppel is at the Railroad Museum. Now, both locations with eyes on the historic bridge that will soon come down. Right now, with a timeline of what's expected to happen in just the next few minutes, we're going to go live to KTIV's RJ Breen. RJ?
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. So I'm here on River Drive where Keith Bliven, my photographer, and I are up 60 feet on a boom lift so we can give you a really great view of just what's about to happen. As you can see, the South Dakota side of that bridge is going to be imploded today, and there is a timeline of those events that are about to proceed. Now, what's already occurred at 9:45, the check-in points are established and the roads are closed within that 1,000-foot perimeter in North Sioux City and Sioux City. Now at 8:55, all the personnel are in safe locations and the public is out of the perimeter, and a 5-minute warning siren sound should be coming into effect. At 8:59, a 1-minute warning siren sound will go, and all clear check from all the checkpoints will be confirmed. If that all clear check is all go and good, at 9 a.m., then a 10-second countdown to the blast will occur. At about 9:05 and between 9:05 and 9:15, the blasters will conduct a post-blast inspection after the implosion of that South Dakota side of the bridge. And at 9:15, if the all clear has been given from the post-blast inspection, the perimeter will be reopened to the public. Now, officials do want to urge, however, though, for all local residents, businesses, and authorities, during the blast, everyone within that 1,000 feet are asked to remain indoors from 8:30 to 9:15 a.m. in collaboration with the North Sioux City and Sioux City police departments. For roads within this area, they will also be closed during that blast. And I'm sure you can see down on the road just beneath us, there's some spectators that are watching and there are local officials on board. The roads are closed and people are awaiting that 5-minute warning siren to occur, so that way we can be getting closer to what we will expect to be that implosion of that South Dakota side of the bridge over there in North Sioux City. And I don't know if you can see it kind of off in the distance, but it almost looks like they have like a boom perimeter set up for things that'll probably float down after that implosion has occurred. As to how it's going to go down, we're not entirely sure what will come off or what will go down into the water once that bridge has been imploded. So, Jessica, we've got all kinds of other views from around the bridge and, of course, over on the Iowa side. So we'll send it over back to you into the studio.
All right. Thank you for that live update, RJ Breen. And we are approaching 8:53, which means we are just 2 minutes away from that 5-minute warning. And as we await the demolition to happen, let's talk more about the actual collapse of the bridge. That's where we bring in KTIV's Katie Koppel, who first reported on the bridge collapsing more than a month ago. Katie?
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. I was here about an hour after that bridge started collapsing back on Sunday, June 23rd. So that collapse kind of began around 10:30 is what we're thinking. I was here just after 11 p.m. that night, and for the many days and weeks afterwards, watching the progress of this bridge giving way to the floods of the Big Sioux River. But let's take a look at some drone footage that we just took about an hour ago here with our Skylink 4 drone. You can see what the bridge looks like right now, and you can see this like little berm that they have built around the South Dakota side of this bridge. So again, the South Dakota side is what is being imploded today and what they are removing first. That's the side that first began collapsing here on this BNSF Railroad Bridge, connecting Sioux City, Iowa and North Sioux City, South Dakota. So they've kind of diverted the water closer to the Iowa side, and this is the side on the South Dakota side that they're going to be taking down today. So earlier this morning, we spoke to a BNSF representative who said they're going to rebuild this line, but it's going to take a bit. It's a critical point in transportation here in Iowa.
Well, BNSF and we have a short line partner that also operates across this bridge. So we've had to use other routes to be able to get the region's commodities to markets around the country. Railroads move everything from aggregate to grain to ethanol to consumer products, you name it. So it's an important way for us to transport goods around the country and certainly for this region.
So KTIV was here for the days and the weeks after this bridge began collapsing. We're showing you some video of just the progress that this bridge has done in the last couple of weeks. Again, it began collapsing on June 23rd on the South Dakota side of the Steel Truss Railroad Bridge. The break came in the middle of the two sections that connect North Sioux City, South Dakota and Sioux City, Iowa. Slowly over several days as the floodwaters rose on the Big Sioux River, the South Dakota section of the bridge began moving farther apart from its Iowa half and collecting debris on its backside. We can actually hear the siren going off now if you can hear it over my microphone. So that's one of our warning signs. We're getting closer, this 5-minute warning sign, we're getting closer to the collapse or to the takedown of this bridge. So we can hear the announcement here at the side of the Railroad Museum, just behind the 1000 perimeter here. But as you can see, we're getting closer to losing this line of transportation, but as we learned today, it's not going to be gone for long. They're going to rebuild this as soon as they can. Jessica.
All right, so Katie, we just heard that 5-minute warning. It is 8:55. Was anything said after the siren?
No, nothing quite yet. You can just hear it, and you could hear someone speaking on a megaphone. Couldn't quite understand it from where we were standing here at the railroad bridge, but we are at the 5-minute warning, so we're getting closer. All
right, RJ, I'm going to send things back out to you. Anything from your side after that 5-minute warning?
Yeah, you could hear crews down there, as also Katie had just mentioned. They did, on the megaphone, give the 5-minute call. So now we're just awaiting those moments leading up to when they will, in fact, implode the bridge. And we're also going to obviously wait for that 1-minute call that we're waiting for. There's a section of crew that are there in the middle of the bridge, not the railroad bridge, but the bridge connecting North Sioux City and the Riverside neighborhood. That's where I believe we heard the megaphone go off and where the sirens are located. That are leading up to this implosion. It looks like they're looking at maybe some final checks or something going on down there. There's probably about 6 or 7 guys probably communicating just about if it looks good and leading up obviously to that 1-minute call for when they're going to implode that bridge. So again, we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Some folks have started to move out of the way, and some of them are actually watching. Of course, there are authorities in front of them. Just waiting for this bridge to be imploded. There's nobody that's over there currently that I can see up here. I mean, I've also got a pair of binoculars and I'm not seeing anything. So again, we're waiting for that 1-minute call and we're inching closer and closer to that.
Yeah, we sure are. It is right now the countdown clock, as you can see there on your screen, and in the studio time, 8:57:34. And I wanted to ask you, RJ, we are seeing several crew members from your angle. Is there a large presence of workers that are on scene right now?
Yes, there is in fact, Jessica. So just on the bridge alone, there's a tree blocking my view, but I see one. I believe there's about 7 or 8 that are sitting over there, but that doesn't include the other crews that are on the other side of the bridge down by the roadblock. There's Sioux City Police. There's probably 3 or 4 other city workers that are also on standby, holding that line down here as well. There's some folks that are over down there by the Dick's Bait and Tackle Shop that they're being moved back by police, so that way they're away from that 1,000-foot zone. So, and again, we want to keep stressing to stay.
Yeah, we just want to get a broader idea of what it looked like there surrounding that bridge. And so right now it looks like we are just about 20 seconds away from the 1-minute warning, and that will be a siren that will sound. Again, giving that 1-minute warning because the demolition should start straight up at 9 a.m. today. It looks like Katie Koppel standing by. Katie, have you heard any indication that things are being pushed back, or are they right on time right now?
So Jessica, I want you to take a listen. So there's our 1-minute warning. We're going to get our shot set up right here, Jessica.
All right, 1 minute until the bridge demolition will happen again. This is a controlled blast with BNSF, and this is on the South Dakota side. This is the part that will be taken down today over the Big Sioux River. This bridge more than 100 years old, and as you can see, things are getting set up right now. The 1-minute siren has sounded. So again, at 9 a.m., if all clear is given, then a 10-second countdown to the blast will happen. So we are at 15 seconds right now. We're going to take a live listen in.
So there it went. The implosion just happened, and I got to tell you that if you folks can hear it, it was pretty loud. And hopefully we saw some birds flying away, and hopefully none of those perished in that blast. But it just folded right almost in half, just straight into the water. It didn't look like anything else came floating down the river. Down on the street, it looks like those crews are waiting for a lot of that smoke to clear, so that way at 9:05 they can do that post-blast inspection that has about a 10-minute window for that to be conducted. And officials again are keeping people back and away from that 1,000-foot zone for safety precautions. And there's it looks like, yep, crews are starting to move over to that side to go check out the implosion site.
All right, RJ Breen live on scene. As you just saw right here on KTIV News 4, the BNSF Railroad Bridge, that controlled blast just happened on the South Dakota side of the bridge. The 10-second countdown was given, and that is when the blast imploded. Again, you saw it live right here on KTIV News 4. Let's check on the other side of things. Let's send things back over to Katie Koppel and get the vantage from her viewpoint. Katie?
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. You could feel that blast in your chest here as that went off. It went off very quick. Everything happened very fast. And if you're watching live on screen, you could see the smoke change color as well as it came up. And we have a very good view here of the Big Sioux River, and you could see some of that debris, just small pieces, kind of littering the water as it fell from the sky. But really, I'm out here with KTIV's Taylor Decker. It was a loud boom. But then there wasn't much fallout from this side of things right behind the perimeter. But right now, again, we're just waiting for that 5-minute clearance. But you can see kind of right in the middle of that South Dakota side of the truss where it just kind of fell in half and then fell down into the water. But again, a very, very large explosion. We could hear car alarms. It sounded like car alarms going off for some of those cars maybe parked over there in Riverside. But right now, it's just kind of a waiting game until we get that all clear. We can see, I think if Taylor can get that on screen, we see a white truck kind of coming down to the side of the bridge. So I think we're getting to that point where they're going to go check everything and see what if everything went off just like it was supposed to. But Jessica, it was very interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. So from 9:05 to 9:15 a.m., according to BNSF, this is the time that the post-blast inspection will happen. And as Katie just mentioned, you saw a crew member there just pull up in the white truck, and they are walking out to what appears to be that demolition site where the controlled blast happened just moments ago that you saw live right here on KTIV News 4. This is on the South Dakota side. And as we are taking a live look at this video, I just want to mention, after both halves of the bridge are removed, BNSF says that will then begin the process of rebuilding this bridge. And so once construction starts, it could take up to 9 months to complete. And again, this is on the South Dakota side. As for the other side, that controlled blast on the Iowa portion is supposed to happen sometime early September. An exact date has not yet been given. And I want to remind those of you watching with us today, this is a major rail line here over the Big Sioux River that connects Iowa and South Dakota. Transported goods it happens across the country, and this is just one artery, main artery, I should say, that's able to connect the origin to the destination. So we're talking about aggregate, grain, ethanol. This is an area that has now been rerouted. Those trains have been rerouted, obviously, because of the floodwaters taking over this bridge after its collapse. And you know, when water began to recede, the bridge, that's when it began to sink. And as the Big Sioux River, of course, eventually moved back into its banks, the scope of this collapse was really shown. And so, as you know, this did, of course, make national news. It was a long-held transportation line in South Dakota and Iowa that really connected there over the Big Sioux River. So this bridge has been there for more than 100 years. And so, as you can see, several other vehicles have pulled up to the demolition site where the controlled blast happened right at 9 a.m. today. You're getting another angle here from a different vantage point. Right now, the post-blast inspection is happening. This is something that will continue for about, so we're anticipating, according to BNSF, the next 10 minutes. And as we take a look from this angle, this is where we find KTIV's RJ Breen. RJ, I'm going to send things back out to you right now. What can you see from your vantage point at this time?
Yeah, Jessica, so they're actually opening up the roads, at least over here on the Iowa side. I'm trying to take a look through the binoculars down on the South Dakota side, and it doesn't look like they are opening that end up just quite yet, but some folks have started to move over to the bridge here to get a closer look just at the sheer implosion and what had occurred just within the last few minutes. And as you can see from our vantage point of view, there are trucks, they are doing the post-blast inspection. It looks as though there's about, I believe there's 2 or 3 guys that are looking around the bridge, the surrounding hill area, and even down further near the river just to make sure that everything is all clear. And it looks as though down on the South Dakota side, that road is, yes, it's beginning to be reopened. They're clearing the barricades over there. Police and local officials are getting those moved and out of the way, and it seems like traffic is starting to resume as normal on a Monday morning, folks getting to work and things like that. And of course, people still in awe of what they just witnessed within the last 5 minutes. So we're still keeping an eye on it from over here. Again, they're still conducting that post-blast inspection that, according to what they're saying, should be for at least the next 8 minutes from that 9:05 to 9:15 window. So, Jessica, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio until we know more.
All right, RJ, thanks for that update. And if you are just joining us, RJ Breen is live there from Military Road near River Drive. Really an angle there that we're able to see what is happening as those crews, again, are surrounding the bridge demolition area. And they are looking at the controlled blast, giving that post inspection. So as we continue our coverage, let's send it out to Katie Koppel. Katie, let's check in with you on your side.
Yeah, Jessica, so we have been given the all clear over on this side. We heard it just a few minutes ago from the team at the bridge, but they are still out there working. You can see them kind of behind me in the trucks. But just from this standpoint, it looks like if they're opening up the roads from RJ's side of things, it looks like it went as planned. Now, again, it was a very powerful explosion. I'm here with KTIV's Taylor Decker behind the camera, and we could feel it. I think we both turned to each other, and it's like we could feel that in our chest right as it happened. It was very, very fast, very instant, but definitely reverberated here as we have just a very clear view of the bridge right behind the perimeter here on the Big Sioux River. Now, again, this is just the South Dakota side. This is the side that first began collapsing back on June 23rd, and that side that first gave way to the high waters here on the Big Sioux River. And the water to bring it to perspective, the water flows from the river, flows into the bridge and then under the Military Road Bridge. So there's a lot of that debris from the floodwaters that also collected. Actually, we're going to look over this way. Taylor's going to move the camera for you. But the river flows into the bridge and then out towards the Missouri. So a lot of debris has collected back here as well. So right now they're just removing the South Dakota side. Later in early September, they'll remove the Iowa side before they begin construction of a new modern bridge here to reconnect this BNSF line, a major transportation line here in the Midwest.
Yeah, and as we talk about it being a major transportation line in the Midwest, Katie, what happened today is a major step forward in progress. So many people, their lives are impacted, of course, by this historic flooding in that particular area. And so this was one of the big stories that we continued to cover when that collapse happened. And this definitely rerouted train traffic, we know through Creston, Iowa, but across the nation, depending on its origin and the destination. But this bridge has been there more than 100 years. It looks like right now we're getting another angle, and you can see it looks like some of the crews have moved back away from the demolition site there as the controlled blast. But as Katie mentioned, this is the South Dakota side. So the next step will be for the Iowa side, for that controlled blast to happen on that side. And so once that is taken down, BNSF says the process of rebuilding the bridge will then begin. So once construction eventually starts, it could take up to 9 months for it to be complete. And so they say this is, again, as Katie mentioned, a major artery across the Midwest that transports so many goods across the country, to include aggregate, grain, ethanol, and is a major connection point there over the Big Sioux River from Iowa into South Dakota. So if you are just joining us here on KTIV News 4, I'm Jessica Bowman along with RJ Breen and Katie Koppel. We are following live coverage of the historic BNSF Railroad Bridge demolition. The controlled blast just happened, and this follows major historic flooding that happened in North Sioux City and there in the Big Sioux River. The Big Sioux River came out of its banks and caused some historic flooding in that area, eventually collapsing this train bridge. So this is a story that we have been covering for more than a month now as it began collapsing June 23rd. And right now, KTIV's Katie Koppel says on her side, the all clear has been given after a post-blast inspection. So we want to check back in with RJ. RJ, have you heard anything on your end?
No, Jessica, honestly, I haven't really heard anything. All the officials have basically cleared out of this area for the most part. If you want to, I'm going to have Keith take a look down at the Military Road Bridge. But, I mean, as you can see, there's intermittent cars that are roaming through, just continuing on with the rest of their day. It looks like there's maybe one police car on the South Dakota side of the bridge. But from my angle... So from my angle, I can see at least 3 or 4 guys still conducting that post-blast inspection that is supposed to be going on for the next 4 minutes. But we've got some video here to take a look at from that blast. Just getting word from my producer. So Cade, what is the video again?
All right, so it looks like, RJ, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. It looks like we're just getting video back in house here at KTIV of the actual controlled blast of the BNSF Railroad Bridge demolition. This controlled blast had happened just 12 minutes ago. So if we can, we're going to replay that video for you if you missed it. There it is. Over the Big Sioux River on the South Dakota side, the BNSF Railroad Bridge demolition. This controlled blast has been planned for quite some time. And as Katie mentioned, very descriptive there. She said you could feel it in your chest when it happened. So it was detonated at 9 a.m. sharp. As of right now, everything has continued to follow along as planned. And again, this is not live coverage. This is a replay of what happened just moments ago over the Big Sioux River of the BNSF Railroad Bridge. And this was, again, just on the South Dakota side. This is after the bridge collapsed more than a month ago following heavy floodwaters that eventually took over the bridge, collapsing it. So we are awaiting for the post-blast inspection to happen right now. It looks like they have about 2 minutes before they give an all clear if everything is okay. We have heard on one side of the bridge near the Railroad Museum, that's where KTIV's Katie Koppel is. She said she did in fact hear the all clear for that side of the inspection. So you can see crew members are still around the bridge right now. But right now we're taking a look back at that controlled blast that happened just 13 minutes ago over the Big Sioux River on the South Dakota side. You're seeing a view of when it happened from both angles where our cameras are set up right now, that being Military Road Drive near River Drive, or Military Road rather, near River Drive. And then the other side of the screen, you were seeing it from the Railroad Museum area. So it looks like some roads are back open right now. As we continue to show you this is a major step moving forward. As we have been talking about for quite some time now, as our reports have continued, we have learned so much about the BNSF Railroad Bridge, and it's what it does for people in the Midwest. It transports so many goods across the Midwest. And so this was a major artery that was severed when it collapsed. So we're going to send things back over to the Railroad Museum side of things. That's where KTIV's Katie Koppel is. And Katie, have you heard any other words from BNSF this morning?
Yeah, so Jessica, we've got the BNSF representative here, and it is all clear. Everything is good. They have opened up the roads over there on Military Road. So it looks like everything went as according to schedule, and crews are just kind of doing their thing down there and get ready to take all of those big pieces out of the water, which is going to take several days, if not weeks.
All right, KTIV's Katie Koppel. Thanks, Katie, for that live update. And thanks to RJ Breen for his efforts on the Military Road near River Drive area. A really great vantage point there that RJ had as we were looking at that demolition as it happened. So 9:15 on the dot. Right now, the all clear has been given after a post-blast inspection there from BNSF. I'm Jessica Bowman, and we are continuing to follow along with the newest updates as they come in. The perimeter is now reopened to the public. And according to BNSF, it could take, as I've mentioned throughout this coverage, it could take months before a new bridge is built, and it could take weeks before what happened today, the demolition and the pieces that are in the water, before that is fully removed from the river. So the second controlled blast on the Iowa side is scheduled to happen in September. So we'll, of course, continue to follow along and bring you an exact date when one is given. And again, that blast will take place on the Iowa side of the river. Well, this concludes our breaking live coverage of the BNSF Railroad Bridge demolition. To take a look back at today's coverage, you can visit our website at KTIV.com. Thanks for joining us.